Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're pulling back the gilded curtains on a story that really contrasts two worlds: the high-stakes realm of modern royalty and, well, the bustling, unapologetic grit of New York City.
Yeah, it's quite the
We've
clash.
sifted through a stack of sources that vividly illustrate this extraordinary collision, and our mission, as always, is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight for you, our curious listener.
Right. And our source material, it offers this unique lens to explore some really profound themes. We'll get into the personal costs of a public life, that intricate dance between duty and desire,
Mm-hmm.
and also the surprising connections, that can form between people from wildly different spheres. This deep dive, it should illuminate universal themes of sacrifice, authenticity, and maybe even redefine what it means to be truly well-informed about the human experience, regardless of status.
So, settle in. We're about to unpack a narrative that might just challenge your ideas about fairy tales, fame, and where true power really resides.
Well, royal framework, a prince's perspective on duty and display.
Okay, let's unpack this. We begin with one of our central figures, Nicholas, the Prince of Wesco. His earliest memory isn't, a toy or a family moment like most of us might have.
Right, it's something quite different.
Instead, at just 3 years old, he remembers hundreds of cameras. Photographers shouting, "Nicholas, Nicholas, this way, smile now." I mean, can you imagine?
It's hard to wrap your head around, really.
This immediately paints this vivid picture of a life that has been public from its very first breath. A childhood lived under this inescapable, constant spotlight. How does that fundamentally shape a person?
Well, what's truly insightful here isn't just Nicholas's personal story, but what it suggests about any inherited identity, whether it's a royal title or a family business or even deep-seated cultural expectations we all deal with.
Sure.
His reflection that fame is a strange thing, and his observation that infamy is temporary, celebrity is fleeting, but royalty is forever. That's not just about his status. It speaks to that fundamental human struggle, doesn't it? Agency versus destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
This profound, almost chilling realization of an inescapable destiny means his life was, in a way, already written before he even knew how to hold a crayon. And many of us grapple with paths that feel preordained, right, by family, society.
Even our own choices sometimes.
Exactly. So Nicholas, understanding that his name will be blazoned in history long after I'm dust in the ground, that isn't really a privilege in the way we might think. It's more like a prison of expectation. It demands this performance that leaves very little room for just being yourself. It makes you ask, how do we find freedom when our roles feel so fixed?
You describe it as an inescapable destiny, a life already written. What does that actually feel like day to day? How does that perpetual spotlight change how someone navigates their childhood, their identity?
Mhm.
And this constant scrutiny, it extends even to how he interacts with the media, right? He describes journalists like Teddy Littlecock, who is palace approved, as asking the stupidest bloody questions ever. He finds the whole thing mind-numbing.
Absolutely. The source really hammers home that feeling. It's not just surveillance. It's like the internalization of that public gaze. You start performing even for yourself, seeing your life almost like a script rather than something that just unfolds.
Right.
And this raises a really important question about how public images are constructed, especially for people in these positions of extreme visibility. Nicholas cynically notes that the point of the questions isn't to inform, it's to reinforce the fantasies.
So it's pure PR.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It highlights this deliberate strategy by the palace to control the narrative, to present a sanitized, idealized version of royal life. He develops this profound disdain for journalistic integrity when he sees the media will drag a freshly starched shirt through the shit and create their own story anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So his perspective is he's forced to choose between being dull and dishonest, which is an unenviable position for someone whose entire life is basically public property. He seems to yearn for authenticity, but is constantly forced into this role.
That meticulously crafted public persona sounds just exhausting. But what's the real Nicholas like? Is there really this huge gap between the official version, all horseback riding, polo, shooting clay pigeons with the queen, and who he actually is?
Or does some of that public life maybe seep into his private moments, blurring the lines?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, the sources reveal a profound disconnect, almost like a dual identity. While his public image is carefully curated, reflecting traditional royal stuff, Nicholas admits to a completely different set of personal enjoyments. Rock climbing, driving as fast as I can without crashing, flying good scotch, B-movies.
Chuckles, B-movies,
Right.
okay.
And he even relishes a scathingly passive-aggressive verbal exchange with the Queen, which gives us this delightful little glimpse into his rebellious spirit under that regal exterior.
Okay, so there's definitely a contrast.
Oh yeah, a stark contrast.
Eh.
It lays bare the enormous pressure on royals to maintain this idealized facade, basically forcing them to lead dual lives. His preference for women who are good at keeping their mouths shut, and his insistence on ironclad NDAs.
Non-disclosure agreements.
Exactly. Legal contracts to keep quiet about anything personal. It just illustrates the constant vigilance required to stop any personal detail from undermining his carefully constructed public image. Every little detail, every interaction, it's a potential threat. It's a life where true privacy is a luxury he can rarely afford. A continuous performance, even behind closed doors.
It gets even more intricate when we talk about his relationships. Lady Esmeralda, or Ezzy, who's described as a committed lesbian, is apparently his favorite beard.
Yeah.
And their dates are even arranged by the palace secretary. That's, well, that's not exactly a spontaneous romance, is it? It's a very calculated arrangement. Seems totally devoid of genuine emotion.
No, it's purely strategic. A complete maneuver, a charade played for the cameras. It starkly illustrates the extent to which even personal companionship gets weaponized for public relations, especially with that constant public pressure for his royal hotness to find his own lady love and settle down.
Right, the heir and a spare thing.
Exactly. This pragmatic, almost transactional approach to relationships just underscores the severe lack of true personal freedom his position affords him. It's a stark illustration of how every single aspect of his life, even the most intimate, is subject to the demands of the crown and public expectation. He's expected to produce an heir, and any perceived lack of interest in quote-unquote normal relationships is a threat to that stability, hence the need for a beard. It reveals this insidious way the system can infiltrate and control even the most personal parts of your life.
And this isn't just about waving from balconies or cutting ribbons. It's critical to understand that Wesco functions as an active constitutional monarchy. Now, for those of us more familiar with, say, a purely ceremonial monarchy like in Japan or the UK, this is a key difference.
It really is.
It means the queen isn't just a symbolic figurehead. She truly is an equal ruling branch of government alongside Parliament. So, in essence, the royal family members, like Nicholas, they operate less as public figures and more like actual politicians wielding direct power.
Yeah, they're players.
So when Nicholas talks about duty, it's not just a social obligation, it's a governmental one with real political consequences.
That detail is absolutely crucial and often missed. It elevates their actions from just symbolism to actual matters of state, where family dynamics can directly influence national policy and stability. Nicholas's grim assessment of politics as a quick, dirty, brawling business reveals the true, often unpleasant nature of the power he's destined to wield.
Right.
He's not just a figurehead, he's expected to be a shrewd operator. He explicitly says, every brawler knows that if you're going to bring a knife to a fistfight, that knife had better be sharp. This isn't just about pomp and circumstance. It's about sharp political thinking, strategic moves, and sometimes, outright conflict to protect the crown's interest. This really deepens our understanding of the immense burden of his role.
And the person pulling the strings, really pushing these political agendas, is his grandmother, Queen Leonora. Nicholas describes her in pretty unflattering terms, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
A battle axe with a chunk of concrete where her heart should be, despite her outwardly, harmless appearance. She's the one forcing the issue of his marriage, driven by urgent, almost desperate political concerns. What are those concerns? What exactly are the stakes here?
Well, the Queen's motivation is clearly tied to political stability and the very survival of the monarchy itself, which seems to be under threat. There are murmurings in Parliament about changing us to a ceremonial sovereignty.
So stripping them of real power?
Exactly. And these murmurs are getting louder. It's a direct threat to their power, their influence. And it's made worse by rising unemployment and falling wages in Wesco, which creates public unrest and questions about, why do we even need these royals?
And Henry doesn't help.
Not at all. Prince Henry's wild behavior, like his naked swimming pool dive and repeated arrests, just fuels the negative public perception. It gives ammunition to those who want to strip the royals of their power.
Right.
So the Queen demands Nicholas find a suitable bride, and fast, to give the press something positive to report, and crucially, to show Parliament we are firmly in control. This really reveals the profound, almost desperate connection between the royal family's personal lives and the stability of the entire nation. She is a woman of immense resolve, willing to make harsh decisions, wield her power without sentimentality, all for what she believes is the greater good of the crown. Her focus is survival above all else.
A New York life, Olivia's daily struggle and resilience.
Okay, so from the palace's polished, controlled facade, we now plunge into a world that couldn't be more different. Our focus shifts to Olivia. Her mornings are less about royal decrees and more about very real, very relatable chaos.
Shackles, definitely relatable.
Her day starts with oversleeping, her devil dog Bosco eating her cinnamon toast crunch, and then a literal wardrobe malfunction, a ripped skirt right in front of Pete the Pervy Garbage Man on a freak March day. It's a far cry from Pal's protocol, isn't it? It grounds her in a completely different reality.
This vivid portrayal immediately grounds her in that gritty, unapologetic reality of New York City living. Her explosive reaction to the garbage man shouting, "fuck you," and unleashing a string of obscene hand gestures, including the Italian salute like her grandma Millie used to make, it instantly defines her as this no-nonsense, resilient New Yorker. She's such a stark contrast to the controlled politeness of Nicholas's world, where every single word and gesture is watched and analyzed.
It's totally different.
This isn't just a funny anecdote. It's a powerful testament to her unvarnished authenticity. Her ability to handle life's curveballs with directness and, well, a healthy dose of defiance. She thinks, God, this is a crappy day, and it's not even 5 a.m. yet, which just perfectly captures the relentless struggle of her daily life.
But beyond the everyday chaos, the source makes it clear there's this deep-seated financial struggle. The constant threat of the foreclosure notice on Amelia's, her family coffee shop, looms large. She tears it off the door, grateful she got to it before any customer saw it. She can't even afford to fix the broken lock on the shop door, which has apparently been broken for months. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a daily threat to her entire livelihood.
And this isn't just a background detail, it's absolutely core to her character. What's really fascinating here is her ethical dilemma. She consciously chooses to prioritize paying her employees and vendors over paying the bank.
That says a lot about her.
It really does. It speaks to this strong sense of community responsibility and loyalty, a fundamental value system that stands in stark contrast to the often self-serving motivations we sometimes see in Nicholas's royal circle. Her internal thought that money doesn't buy happiness, but being able to purchase some peace of mind real estate would be pretty great right now, is just incredibly relatable for anyone facing financial stress. It highlights the crushing weight of her responsibilities.
Right.
And her mother's ancestral recipes, passed down from the old country, they're the niche that keeps Amelia's afloat. It makes the business not just a source of income, but this living legacy she's desperate to protect from crumbling. That broken lock, it's a potent symbol of her vulnerability and the constant, tangible threats she faces every day.
And Olivia's burdens, they extend far beyond just the business. We learn her mother tragically died 9 years ago, mugged on the subway.
Which is just horrific.
And her father, in turn, just kind of checked out, became an alcoholic, drinking when he's sad. That's such a heavy weight for anyone to carry, let alone a young woman trying to keep everything together.
Yeah, this details the deep emotional and practical trauma Olivia has endured. She essentially had to step into a parental role, didn't she? Not only running the struggling business, but also caring for her father. His passive, almost resigned way of coping, he drinks when he's sad, just highlights Olivia's isolation in managing their family's grief and decline. She carries the weight of their collective past, shouldering responsibilities far beyond her years. It's a kind of silent sacrifice that really defines her resilience.
It feels like the narrative subtly uses the coffee shop state to mirror her internal state, too.
That's a great point. The lack of a physical lock on the door might also symbolize her deeper sense of being stuck, trapped, like she dreams about, unable to escape the burdens of her past and present.
And adding to all her responsibilities is her younger sister, Ellie. Ellie's the smart one, got early acceptance to NYU, but apparently has no idea how the real world works.
Right. Book smarts versus street smarts.
Exactly. Olivia constantly worries about Ellie's future and her gullibility, contrasting Ellie's book smarts with her own hard-won common sense. It really feels like Olivia has always been the protector in the family.
Indeed. This portrays Olivia as this really selfless protector, constantly looking out for the one remaining member of her immediate family. Her fear of being all alone once Ellie leaves for school and that recurrent dream she has of being stuck trapped without doors or windows.
Yeah, that's haunting.
It beautifully illustrates the profound anxiety she carries about her long-term responsibilities and the possibility of losing everything she's fought so hard to maintain. Her dedication to Amelia's, making those pies from her mother's recipes, it isn't just about business. It's a living tribute to her mother and a desperate attempt to preserve her family's legacy and, well, their financial stability. She juggles multiple roles: daughter, sister, business owner, caregiver, with this fierce, unwavering commitment that truly defines her character. She's the anchor in the storm of family tragedy and financial peril.
The collision when worlds and personalities collide.
So it's against this backdrop of deeply contrasting lives, one bound by gilded tradition, the other by gritty, everyday survival, that Nicholas and Olivia's worlds finally collide. The setting: Olivia's coffee shop during a New York snowstorm.
Perfect dramatic setting.
Nicholas, likely hungover, definitely jaded from days of drinking, and Olivia, utterly exhausted on the brink financially and emotionally. What an opening act for this unexpected, truly unlikely connection.
Their initial interaction is just a masterclass in cultural miscommunication, a raw clash of privilege versus dignity. Nicholas's clumsy pie innuendos asking if her pie is delicious or juicy are met with Olivia's sharp "save it." It reflects her experience with crude advances and her immediate instinct just to shut that down. But the real friction ignites when Nicholas, coming from a world where seemingly everything has a price, escalates his offer for sex from $10K to a truly staggering $20K.
$20,000. Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And Olivia's defiant response, "My dignity isn't for sale," instantly establishes her unwavering moral compass, her profound sense of self-worth that no amount of money can touch. She's acutely aware, she thinks to herself, that she's not the kind of girl to go for something like this in real life. Her principles are just non-negotiable.
And then Nicholas delivers that truly crushing blow, even if unintentionally, with his comment, "You obviously need the money." It hits Olivia right where she's most vulnerable. It touches on that deep shame about her financial struggles and the visible signs of decay in her shabby shop: the chipping paint, the broken lock, the worn chairs and shabby curtains. She actually gasps, feeling the visceral humiliation and disappointment of being seen so clearly and, well, so poorly.
This moment just perfectly encapsulates the immense chasm between their experiences and the unintended cruelty that can stem from privileged ignorance, right? Nicholas's casual assumption that money can buy anything just exposes his shelter worldview, while Olivia's deep hurt underscores the immense power of respect and dignity over any material gain. It creates this powerful initial conflict that really sets the stage for their entire dynamic. It forces Nicholas to confront the real-world impact of his words, something he probably rarely has to do.
Yeah, definitely.
This interaction highlights how their disparate backgrounds lead to fundamentally different understandings of value and worth. It's a gulf that initially feels completely insurmountable.
But then Nicholas comes back to apologize, spurred by a dream of his mother scolding him for making the angel cry. That feels incredibly human, doesn't it? A real crack in his carefully constructed royal persona.
It really does.
What does this specific moment, this "I'm sorry," truly signify beyond just saying sorry? Is this maybe the first real glimpse of Nicholas the man, not just the prince?
I think it absolutely is. It's a rare and significant moment of vulnerability for Nicholas.
Yeah.
It shows this budding self-awareness, a recognition of his behavior's impact far beyond his royal facade. It suggests there's a moral compass there that hasn't been entirely corrupted by his upbringing. And Olivia's acceptance, which is tempered with that honest acknowledgement that his comment wasn't untrue about her financial situation. She says, "It's not like you said anything that wasn't true." That reveals her authenticity and resilience too. Her refusal to sugarcoat reality even in that vulnerable moment. Nicholas, for his part, is clearly captivated by her. He describes her as even lovelier than I remembered, with stunning dark sapphire eyes and a fantastically curvy figure. He finds her prettily made and sweet-scented, which is a world away from the playboy centerfold types he usually describes.
So the attraction is immediate, despite the awful start.
Yeah, and it seems rooted in something deeper than just physical appearance. It's about her raw, unvarnished realness, I think.
Then comes that truly awkward and, frankly, heartbreaking moment when Nicholas encounters Olivia's alcoholic father outside the shop. Logan, Nicholas's security, actually calls him a vagrant, mistaking him for a homeless person.
Oh, that's rough.
And Nicholas, acting on what he probably perceives as royal authority and maybe even a desire to help, takes control. He uses the voice, as he calls it, to command him. This must have been just deeply humiliating for Olivia.
Oh, absolutely. This scene perfectly illustrates their cultural clash again, and the vast difference in their upbringings. Nicholas, accustomed to a world of protection and command, probably sees himself as helping, maybe even as a rescuer.
Right, fixing the problem.
Exactly. He even describes his voice as the one that bent Bosco to his will, referring to Olivia's dog earlier, which illustrates the commanding tone he uses with this sense of innate authority. Olivia, however, is deeply embarrassed by his intervention. She feels her family's vulnerability exposed, her own efforts to manage the situation completely undermined.
Yeah, I can see that.
Her furious reaction, "I don't need you riding in here on your white horse and calling him a royal dick."
Jojo.
It highlights her fierce independence and pride, and her friend Tommy's later, wonderfully descriptive Dickie-corn analogy.
Right, the mythical creature.
Chuckles. It perfectly captures the nuances of her humiliation and the unintended, albeit maybe well-meaning consequences of Nicholas's misguided interference. She doesn't need a savior. She's always saved herself, and this intrusion feels like a personal violation.
Okay, so despite the very bumpy start, their connection somehow deepens through these shared moments of unexpected compassion. Nicholas brings Olivia's pies to a children's charity event, and he genuinely enjoys making kids like Freddie happy.
He explains he likes children because they haven't developed ulterior motives yet, which is such a telling, almost poignant insight into his jaded view of the adult world he inhabits. This feels like a significant step for him, doesn't it? Showing a different side.
It truly does. This reveals a more authentic and human side of Nicholas, a desire for unadulterated, uncomplicated connection, which must be an incredibly rare commodity in his world.
Yeah.
He even sees himself in the small boy, sitting on the sidelines, describes him as an oddity, much like he often feels himself. It contrasts so sharply with the calculated interactions he usually has to navigate. The act of making children happy brings him a genuine perk of this job, as he puts it, and a simple joy he rarely experiences. A brief respite from the pretense. This small act of generosity, even though it's paid for by the royal charity, becomes this significant bridge between their worlds. It shows Olivia a different facet of his character. He's not just the arrogant prince who offered her money. He's capable of genuine kindness and connection. And Olivia, in turn, takes her own deep dive into Nicholas's background. She Googles him, discovers his Wikipedia page, fan sites, and even the truly absurd fact that his ass has its own Twitter handle, @HisRoyalArse.
Nice.
And it has more followers than John Hamm's penis and Chris Evans' beard put together.
Okay, that's just peak internet right there.
That alone tells you something about the sheer absurdity of this level of fame, doesn't it? But what truly impacts her, moving beyond the celebrity stuff, is watching the video of his parents' funeral.
Right. It shifts dramatically there. And it speaks volumes about the public's insatiable appetite for even the most trivial details of royal life, turning it into this spectacle where even anatomy gets its own fan base.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But then, Olivia pivots from that digital absurdity to something truly profound. This is a huge aha moment of empathy for Olivia, and for us as listeners too. Witnessing a 14-year-old Nicholas comforting a sobbing Henry at the funeral, taking charge with the footmen, saying, "I am your prince. You will do what I say."
Wow, just a kid.
Exactly. It allows Olivia to see beyond the royal title, beyond the gold-plated everything. She realizes he was just a kid, trying his hardest to keep the family he had left from falling apart. And that mirrors her own experiences with family loss and overwhelming responsibility.
That's the connection.
That shared human vulnerability becomes this powerful bridge between their disparate worlds. It allows Olivia to see the real boy, and later the man, beneath the crown. She realizes he's not so different from me, which is a crucial understanding. It starts dismantling those barriers of class and status.
Deepening trust and unveiling truths, the price of connection.
Okay, so Olivia, understanding Nicholas's yearning for normalcy, for just a break from that perpetual spotlight, plans this clandestine freedom date to Coney Island.
Love this idea.
She even provides him with a disguise. A Beastie Boys t-shirt, ripped jeans, a gold chain, and Marty's Ducati motorcycle. It's her way of giving him a taste of the life he's never known, right? A moment of pure, unadulterated anonymity. What does that experience actually mean to him?
Well, this whole escapade just highlights Nicholas's deep, almost desperate craving for a life unburdened by his royal identity. He describes the experience as both strange, like showing up to class without trousers, is how he puts it,
Nicholas, okay.
and exhilarating. It reveals that constant tension between his public role and his private desires. His initial self-consciousness about hiding in plain sight, it just underscores the immense weight of his perpetual scrutiny. He says he's used to annoying children banging on the glass enclosure like he's a lion at the zoo, constantly observed.
Yeah.
So being truly unnoticed is this completely foreign concept, a profound gift from Olivia. Her ingenuity in creating this moment of anonymity is really a profound act of compassion. It allows him to briefly shed that golden cage.
And then there's that moment of pure New York charm when a Staten Island woman approaches Nicholas and asks, "Oh my God, do you know who you look like?"
Chuckles. The inevitable question.
Right. And Olivia, quick on her feet, deflects with that classic New Yorker wit, saying, "That's not him, but I know a guy who looks just like him,
Yeah.
the guy I'm banging."
Brilliant.
Nicholas calls her a bloody genius for it. It's such a natural, almost protective moment.
This exchange perfectly showcases Olivia's street smarts, doesn't it? And her growing protective instinct, which kind of mirrors Nicholas's own efforts to shield her from the public eye. It's a genuine connection being built on mutual support and shared humor. It proves that their bond can thrive even in the most unlikely public encounters.
Yeah.
It's a moment where Olivia truly embraces her New Yorker identity to protect their shared moment of freedom, and Nicholas's admiration for her quick thinking is just palpable. She tells him New Yorkers are cool about celebrity stuff, even if Nicholas, from his gilded cage, maybe he doesn't always believe it. It's a testament to the raw, authentic dynamic that's blossoming between them.
But the illusion of normalcy just shatters when a delusional woman from the hotel, believing Nicholas's efforts to send security away were some kind of sign, just for her, infiltrates his suite.
Oh, wow. That's terrifying.
She says, his sending those boys away was my sign to come in. This isn't just awkward, it's genuinely unsettling, a stark reminder of the real dangers inherent in his life.
This unsettling incident serves as just a stark reminder of the dangerous reality that constantly shadows a royal's life. It transforms even a simple gesture of wanting privacy into a potential threat. The woman's fucking Looney Tunes crazy eyes, as described, and Nicholas's cold "she's no one" to Olivia.
Yeah, that sounded harsh.
It sounds harsh, but it's probably a calculated move to de-escalate a really volatile situation. But it forces Olivia to confront the true threats lurking just beneath the glamorous surface of his world. It's a moment that rips that fairy tale veneer right away, revealing the real and ever-present dangers he constantly navigates. The constant fear of obsession, the total loss of personal space, even physical threats. This is a life where even the simplest desire for anonymity can turn perilous.
And the aftermath, as you'd expect, leads Logan, the head dark suit of his security detail, to tighten the security net significantly.
Makes sense.
He demands increased protection for Nicholas, and even goes so far as to place a tail on Miss Hammond and her sister. Logan argues it's just insane for Nicholas to visit unsecured locations like Amelia's. This really brings home that concept of collateral damage, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. This reinforces the grim concept of collateral damage. It makes it brutally clear that Olivia's safety and her family's safety becomes intrinsically linked to Nicholas's public life.
Right, because by being near him.
Exactly. Logan's insistence underscores the profound impact of his existence on anyone close to him. It illustrates how that golden cage can extend its bars, metaphorically speaking, to those outside the immediate royal family. Nicholas himself admits it's not easy being my friend, it's even more difficult being my lover.
Wow.
He chillingly adds, think of me as a walking, exploding bomb. Anything near to me will eventually become collateral damage. This is the stark, unvarnished reality of loving a royal. A life where personal freedom and even safety are constantly compromised for the crown. It highlights the profound sacrifice anyone choosing to be close to him must endure.
And as their connection deepens, the most significant truth Nicholas has to reveal is the existence of those archaic rules surrounding his impending arranged marriage.
The big one.
Yeah, he must marry nobility, he must marry a virgin, because his future children are destined to govern a country. This is the ultimate non-negotiable barrier between them, isn't it?
This just exposes the rigid, unyielding traditions that govern his entire life, where lineage and duty supersede personal choice in the most brutal way imaginable. His poignant statement, "Archaic rules are the only thing that makes me who I am. I don't get to choose which ones I'll follow," is such a stark confession of his own profound lack of agency.
Yeah, he feels trapped by them.
Completely, and the deep constraints he lives under. He's essentially a product of these rules, unable to pick and choose which ones define him, even if they contradict his deepest desires. It's a painful admission of his predetermined fate, a fate that now feels unbearable because of Olivia. It's the moment he truly understands the weight of his chains.
Olivia's initial anger, that raw, understandable, "why didn't you tell me?" is met with Nicholas's equally raw honesty. "I didn't know it would feel like this." This reveals the unexpected depth of his emotional entanglement, doesn't it? A love that defiantly challenges his predetermined path and centuries of tradition. It's a moment of pure, unexpected revelation for him as much as for her.
This conflict between preordained duty and authentic emotion is absolutely at the heart of their story. Nicholas is supposed to confront how love has fundamentally altered his understanding of his future, making the path he once just accepted now feel impossible.
Yeah.
His past experience of being relieved by a miscarriage, his prior fear of responsibility, the fact that he admits he didn't want that responsibility, not yet. From a previous relationship, it stands in such stark contrast to his overwhelming feelings for Olivia now.
It shows how much he's changed.
Exactly. It demonstrates a profound personal evolution. His love for Olivia has awakened this desire for a different life, one he never imagined possible or even wanted before. This is where duty and desire truly collide head-on.
And the candid conversation with Franny Alcott, Simon's wife, further illuminates the brutal realities of the royal social scene, which she cynically labels a pretty little shit heap.
He chuckles. Doesn't mince words, does she?
No. She offers Olivia this crash course in survival, advising her on using indifference and confusion as a woman's weapons of mass destruction. Franny calls the world they inhabit a cesspool. She is definitely not sugarcoating it.
Franny's character provides this pragmatic, albeit deeply jaded guide to navigating this cesspool. She's a voice of hard-won experience, isn't she?
Totally.
Her deeply personal backstory of abuse, where her uncle, her pretty princess molester, was killed in a riding accident, and how Simon's unconditional love helped her heal. How he saw beyond her acting ugly and cruel to her inner spark. It offers this powerful counter-narrative to the superficiality of their world. It emphasizes that true connection sees beyond external appearances and societal judgment, and that even in the most privileged circles, profound human pain and trauma exist. She's not just giving advice, she's imparting wisdom born from survival. She tells Olivia that this knowledge is ammunition against those who will inevitably hate you, which is a powerful testament to the hostile environment Olivia would be entering. Franny offers a dark but probably realistic glimpse into the psychological warfare of royal life.
The ultimate sacrifice. A kingdom for love.
So Olivia, facing Nicholas's impending arranged marriage, makes this incredibly brave and selfless decision. She can't bear the thought of a marriage of convenience. She can't watch him give another woman his mother's ring, which is such a powerful symbol of genuine love in their story.
Right, the ring means everything.
So she confronts the formidable Queen Lenora directly. What extraordinary courage for a commoner to face a monarch like that, with such unyielding resolve.
It's an incredible moment of courage, isn't it? Olivia, a commoner, facing this monarch, Nicholas described as a battle axe with a chunk of concrete where her heart should be. It highlights her deep love for Nicholas and her refusal to just passively accept his predetermined fate.
Yeah.
And the Queen, surprisingly, actually softens a bit in this interaction. She acknowledges Nicholas's profound love for Olivia. She recognizes in it the echo of her own deceased son, Prince Thomas, and his wife, a couple who apparently loved each other just as deeply as Olivia and Nicholas do.
So she sees the parallel.
Exactly. It's a rare crack in the Queen's steely demeanor. It shows her own deep underlying humanity and perhaps even a flicker of regret for her own path. She sees their love as this mirror to her own lost past. And then, in a truly stunning moment of vulnerability, the Queen, this battle axe, reveals this deeply personal tragedy that completely reshapes our understanding of her iron will.
Yeah, this is huge. She speaks of her own second child, a daughter born with a severe heart condition, who died at just 6 months old. Her confession, "I would have given up my crown to save her," is just this raw, heart-wrenching admission that shatters her formidable facade. It highlights that universal pain of parental grief, a pain that transcends status or power. What does this profound revelation tell us about the source of her unyielding commitment to the crown?
Well, this is such a pivotal moment. It provides crucial, empathetic context for her otherwise rigid adherence to duty. Her seemingly cold calculation isn't simply about maintaining power. It's this deeply ingrained belief that tradition and order are the only ways to preserve the monarchy and prevent further loss. It's a lesson she learned from the most unbearable grief imaginable.
Wow, okay.
She sees the crown as this bulwark against chaos, a way to prevent the kind of devastation she experienced personally. So her warning to Olivia that she would face scorn as a mistress, the derision of the whole world, it isn't just a threat. It's a grim forecast born from her own understanding of public judgment and the relentless scrutiny inherent in royal life.
She's seen it.
She genuinely believes there are no secrets, not in this world, not anymore, and that a life of being his mistress would be not a pretty thing to be. A life of constant pain, perhaps mirroring her own silent suffering in some way. This vulnerability allows us to see her not just as a ruler, but as a mother who lost a child and chose to channel that immense pain into preserving her legacy.
The pressure just keeps mounting, though. Henry gets arrested again for partying, and then there's this truly devastating fake news story proclaimed by the Daily Star. Royal teen pregnancy ends in miscarriage, subtly implying Olivia's involvement.
Vicious.
Nicholas, under immense stress and actually believing the fabricated details, lashes out at Olivia in this moment of utter despair. He yells, "Then leave. Go back to fucking New York." It's his breaking point, isn't it? He just snaps.
This illustrates the destructive power of disinformation, doesn't it? And the deep-seated mistrust that a life of constant scrutiny can instill. Nicholas's immediate assumption of Olivia's guilt, fueled by his own past betrayals and the immense pressure of his royal burdens, tragically causes him to wound the person he cares for most deeply.
Yeah.
His desperate outburst signifies his complete breaking point. It demonstrates the fragility of his composure under that extreme stress. He thinks, whatever tiny wick of trust still lives inside him has been burned one too many times. This is him hitting rock bottom, pushing away the very person who brings him hope, unable to distinguish truth from the relentless lies that define his public life. It's a tragic misstep born of a lifetime of manipulation.
But the truth eventually comes out, thankfully. And Nicholas, utterly devastated by Olivia's departure and the realization of his mistake, makes a choice that sends literal shockwaves through Wessco.
Yeah, this is the turning point.
In a live press conference, despite looking terrible and appearing profoundly sad, he makes a public apology directly to Olivia, looking straight into the camera. Something utterly unprecedented for a royal.
This public act of humility from a royal is truly extraordinary. It fundamentally redefines his character. His declaration, "I will marry Olivia Hammond or I will never marry at all," signifies this radical departure from centuries of tradition. He's prioritizing his personal conviction and love over his birthright.
It's huge.
It's a powerful statement of self-determination, a definitive stand against those archaic rules that once governed him entirely. He says his mother wanted him to have love, and he is finally listening to that deep desire, not just for himself, but for his own definition of what a monarch or maybe just a leader should be. It's a moment of profound courage.
And then comes the ultimate sacrifice, a moment that will echo through Wesco's history surely. He abdicates my place in the line of succession and renounces all rights to the throne of Wesco, passing the title to his completely shocked brother, Henry, who literally wakes up to the news and asks, "Wait, what?" It's a decision that changes everything for both of them, forever.
What's truly fascinating here is the absolute clarity and conviction behind Nicholas's decision. He reveals that in that monumental moment in front of all those cameras, he saw his entire future laid out before him, and without Olivia, not one of them mattered worth a damn.
Incredible.
This isn't merely a romantic gesture, although it is incredibly romantic. It's a profound redefinition of his identity and purpose. Choosing a life of authenticity and love over a predetermined, though powerful destiny, he unequivocally states, "I don't need a kingdom. If you're beside me, I already have the whole world." This just encapsulates his profound personal evolution from a constrained prince to a man who has found his true self and true purpose in love. It's a powerful statement about what really defines value and happiness.
Olivia's reaction when she hears Nicholas's abdication on the news is wonderfully human and relatable. She rushes to prepare for his arrival by frantically shaving her legs.
Priorities.
And her friend Marty gasps, "You're gonna be a queen, Liv, like Beyonce."
Yeah.
It just brings this touch of everyday reality to such a monumental, world-changing event.
This detail, it's both humorous and incredibly touching, isn't it? It grounds the monumental event in the intimate reality of their relationship. It shows that despite the grand scale of his sacrifice, their love remains deeply personal and real. It emphasizes the profound joy in simple, shared moments, even frantic leg shaving.
Yeah.
Logan, Nicholas's security guy, apparently notes that American women are nutty, which is a humorous, maybe exasperated observation on her priorities in that moment. But it speaks to the delightful authenticity of Olivia's character.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even when your life changes on a global scale, some things remain fundamentally human and endearing.
Their emotional reunion is palpable. Olivia, still reeling from the shock, asks Nicholas, "How could you do that? Give it all up." And his response is so simple yet profound. "It was the easiest thing I've ever done. I don't need a kingdom. If you're beside me, I already have the whole world." It's such a powerful summary of his entire transformation.
It beautifully encapsulates that central theme of finding true value beyond material wealth or titles. It suggests that genuine happiness and purpose are found in authentic connection and shared experience, not in the trappings of power or inherited status. Nicholas's transformation is complete. He has found his true kingdom in love, a kingdom built on choice and shared devotion, not just an accident of birth. It's a powerful redefinition of what wealth and power truly mean in a personal context.
So 8 months later, they marry as the Duke and Duchess of Fairstone. There's still grand ceremony, crowds cheering, doves flying, all for love. And Olivia's beloved coffee shop, Amelia's, is transformed into a pay-what-you-can nonprofit, expanding to multiple locations in New York, including the Bronx. It's a truly beautiful integration of their two worlds, isn't it?
It represents this beautiful synthesis of their two worlds, where Olivia's deep values of community and helping others are now powerfully supported by Nicholas's resources and influence, even without the crown. It demonstrates this practical application of privilege for the greater good. It hints at a new model for living beyond traditional royal duties.
Hmm.
The source material notes it's a happily ever after for everyone, with Parliament falling in line and unemployment and wages recovering in Wesco. It's a future where love and service seem inextricably linked, not just for them, but maybe for their country too, a testament to the ripple effects of authentic choices.
And the supporting characters, they find their own moments of happiness, too. Marty openly flirts with Christopher, the Queen's secretary, who is shamelessly reciprocating.
Chuckles, good for them.
And Ellie, in a truly memorable moment, tackles the formidable Queen in a cub hug, exclaiming, "I just can't believe we're related."
Oh, I love that.
These small moments really tie the story together beautifully.
These delightful details just underscore the enduring personalities and the ability of genuine human connection to break through even the stiffest protocol, even within the most rigid institutions. They show that while Nicholas and Olivia have redefined their own royalty, their lives are still filled with the warmth, humor, and authenticity that make their journey so compelling. And Nicholas sums it up perfectly to Olivia, doesn't he, in reference to their shared future. We're royalty. That means we're forever, cementing their commitment beyond any crown or title, finding permanence and connection rather than just inherited status. Outro. So our deep dive into this extraordinary story, treating it as a factual account for our purposes, reveals that even in the most seemingly rigid structures like royalty, there's immense personal agency. Nicholas's journey from a life of, well, preordained duty to one of chosen purpose, sacrificing a kingdom for love. It illustrates that profound human desire for authenticity and belonging, a desire that ultimately proves stronger than centuries of tradition.
Yeah, what stands out to me is how the very burden of royalty became Nicholas's greatest opportunity for self-discovery. He completely redefined what forever means, didn't he? Not in terms of an inherited crown, but a chosen connection, a shared life with Olivia. He found his true self only when he shed the expectations placed upon him since birth. It proves that sometimes maybe you have to give up everything to gain what truly matters. It's a powerful lesson, isn't it?
It really is. And it raises an important question, I think, for you, our listener. In your own life, what archaic rules or external expectations might you be living by, perhaps without truly realizing their hold on you? And what might it mean to redefine your own royalty, your own path to fulfillment and happiness, even if it means making a choice that others might not understand, or that seems to go against everything you were told you were supposed to be? What kingdom are you willing to give up for your authentic self? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll keep thinking about these themes: duty, sacrifice, identity, and those surprising, sometimes difficult paths to finding what truly makes you happy.